Greetings from Las Vegas. I'm Andy Isco with the weekly Mark Lawrence Against the Spread podcast contest review of the major handicapping contest here in Las Vegas. I'll be covering a total each week of 5 contests. We'll begin with the one contest that combines NFL and college football selections. It's a long-running contest that's been sponsored and run by the Golden Nugget Hotel and Casino Race and Sportsbook here in Las Vegas. And as you can see on the graphic, the number of entries 153 for this year, and it tells a little bit about the prize structure. Each week, I'll be reporting on the leader in the contest. There's not really much in the way of consensus selections. You do make 7 selections each week, but it covers roughly 50 to 60 games each week with the college schedule. So the number of consensus plays is not going to be that significant as it will be for the remaining contests that I'll be discussing in a few moments. Through 7 weeks, the contestants have made a total of 49 selections. The one leader in the contest right now has a point spread record of 32, 15, and 2, getting 1 point for each correct selection, half a point for a push, 0 points for an incorrect selection. The leader has 33 of 49 possible points. That translates to a 67.4% winning percentage. Of the 153 entrants, only 8 are hitting 60% or better, and that works out to just 5.2% of the field. So one would normally think that you'd have a greater number of contestants having a record better than 60% when you're talking about so many college football games to choose from, but it's not been that easy this year for most of the contestants in the Golden Nugget Ultimate Football Challenge. Let's turn now to the NFL only contest, beginning with the high-priced $5,000 entry fee winner-take-all Super Contest Gold. Sponsored by the Westgate Sportsbook. There were a total of 92 entries in the contest for this year. Winner take all prize of $460,000. I'll be reporting on the consensus as well as the standings. As you can see, the consensus last week went 3-2. So for the season, the top 5 selections 17, 17, and 1 through 35 selections. That's exactly 50%. There's one leader in the contest right now with a record of 24, 11, and 0. That's 24 of a possible 35 points. That translates to a 68.6 winning percentage. Of the field of 92 contestants, 10 are at 21 points, which equates to 60% or better, and that works out to 10.9% of the entire field of 92. Reviewing the consensus selections for Week 7, which I mentioned were 3-2, the 3 winning selections in order of popularity or times chosen: the Philadelphia Eagles, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Chicago Bears all covered the point spread in the contest. The two that did not were the number 1 selection of the Cleveland Browns, and they won but did not cover in their win at Indianapolis. And similarly, the Los Angeles Chargers did not cover the underdog point spread of 5.5 in their loss at Kansas City. Turning now to the what had been the most popular and heavily played contest for many, many years up until just recently, the Super Contest, which is now known because of the introduction of the Super Contest Gold a number of years ago. This is called the Super Contest Classic. This contest drew 1,301 entries this year. Looking at the consensus last week was a bad week for the top 5 selections as they went just 1-4 against the contest point spread, bringing the year-to-date total, the season-to-date total, to 18, 16, and 1. That's 18.5 out of a possible 35 points, resulting in a winning percentage of 52.9% for the consensus, the 5 most popular selections each week by the 1,301 entries. There's one leader in this contest with a very nice record, 26, 8, and 1. That works out to a winning percentage of 75.7%. Of the 1,301 entries, 155 are at 60% or more. That's a total of 21 of a possible 35 points. That equates to 11.9% of the total field hitting 60% or more through the first 7 weeks of this contest. Looking at those poor results for the consensus last week, the lone winner was the number 3 popular selection of the 5, the Philadelphia Eagles. That was a winning selection. The 4 losing selections included the most popular selection of the Cleveland Browns. They did not cover in their win against the Colts. The other 3 selections that failed to cover, the Chargers The second most popular selection, number 4, Lions, did not cover in their blowout loss at Baltimore, and the Los Angeles Rams lost at home as the 5th most popular selection in the Super Contest Classic. Let's turn now to what has become the most popular traditional handicapping contest in recent years, and that's the one sponsored by the Circa Million. This is the 5th year of the contest, which is appropriately why it's called Circa Sports Million 5. This attracted a total number of 5,274 entries. The guaranteed prize pool in this contest, $6 million. So the Circa is on the hook for $726,000, creating a nice overlay for the Circa Millions. As I mentioned, over 5,200 entries. And the consensus last week, similar to the Westgate Classic, just 1-4. Its record for the year, those 5 top selections each week, 16, 18, and 1. That's 16 and a half out of a possible 35 points, equaling a 47.1% success rate for those contestants. As with the Super Contest Classic, a very healthy winning record for the leader, also 26, 8, and 1 for 26 and a half of a possible 35 points. That's a 75.7% winning record through the first 7 weeks of the contest. And as far as the overall field is concerned and their success rate, 657 of the 5,274 contestants are currently hitting 60% or better. That works out to pretty much 1/8 of the field. Exactly 12.5% of the field is hitting at the 60% rate through 7 weeks and 35 selections. Last week, the consensus, the one winner, the one winner of the consensus plays, again, the Philadelphia Eagles. In fact, of the 5,274 entries, 1,665 were on the Philadelphia Eagles, laying 2.5 in their home win over the Miami Dolphins. The remaining that was the number 2 selection, actually. 1,738 was the number 1 selection on the Chargers that lost. The Rams were also a losing selection, as were the Cleveland Browns, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their home game against the Atlanta Falcons was also a losing selection. So 1-4 for the year so for last week, and as I mentioned before, 47.1% for the season. And finally, we get to what has become pretty much internationally, not just throughout the United States, the most widely reported on and followed contest, and that's the Circa Sports Survivor Contest. 1 pick a week. You have to win straight up and advance to the next week. You can use a team only once throughout the contest. And this contest consists of 20 weeks, as both Thanksgiving week and Christmas week are split into 2 separate weeks. Of the 9,267 entries that started the season and created a prize pool winner take all of 9,267,000, previously eliminated through the first 6 weeks of the contest, 7,478 already eliminated through just 6 weeks. That left 1,789 entries alive into this past week number 7, slightly under 20% of the field. In fact, 19.3% of the field just remains. There were 552 entries that were eliminated in week number 7. That represented 30.9, just basically 31% of the entries that remained after the first 6 weeks, which leaves only 1,237 of the original 9,267, as you can see, entries that started this season, 13.4% alive into week number 8. The one thing we like to look at, and the entrants in the contest may that still remain alive may be considering some action in the imputed value. How much is each one of those 1,237 entries worth if someone were looking to sell it and get a fair value for the number of contestants that remain alive to share possibly in that prize pool? $7,491 is the value of each of those 1,237 entries. Over the course of the season, you'll see the relationship. As the number of entries declines, the imputed value of each entry continues to go up. And just taking a look at some of the top teams that were eliminated in this past week, and keep in mind that a number of teams that were eliminated that lost and eliminated entries were not heavily picked because contestants either had used them or we're saving them for later in the year. Buffalo, with their loss at New England, 194 entries were eliminated when the Patriots won that game. 101 entries were eliminated when Tampa Bay lost at home to Atlanta, and 99 were eliminated of the contest. Were eliminated from the contest when the Rams lost at home to Pittsburgh of the total 552. So that's the current week recap for week number 7. And we'll be back next week with a recap of week number 8. We'll see how many of those entries remain alive and also what the results are. And we'll track the leaders continually throughout the season. Would not be surprising, in fact, almost expected, if the winning rate of those leaders slowly but steadily declines as the lines get tougher, the decision making gets even more difficult. So we'll be back next week with another edition of the Mark Lawrence Against the Spread podcast contest review.